gang violence and other kind of violence.
Get away! I could be at work, at school, in my car, I can still get shot by the police, but I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.
What's good, Shadow Realm? It's the Black Gen Z Mindset. Make sure you go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe, and let's get into the video.
Now to a developing story. Authorities are planning to release new details this morning about the shooting death of a 9-year-old boy in Compton.
It's heartbreaking. Gigi Graciette live in Compton with what we have learned so far. Gigi, good morning.
Bob and Brooke, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Today, the search continues for a killer, the person who shot that little boy to death. Take a look at the victim. His name was Princeton Nicholas Jones. Loving and bright, say his family, describing him as a beacon of joy with an infectious smile.
Wow. So we have this young man, Princeton Nicholas Jones, who was shot and killed in the city of Compton, one of the worst places when it comes to crime, specifically black on black crime. And you got a lot of Hispanics now taking over Compton, a lot of illegal aliens taking over Compton. But in this case, this is coming straight out of the community. And unfortunately, we have to report on yet another young black child whose life was taken abruptly due to violence in our neighborhoods. These super gremlins are on demon time.
Again, he was only 9 years old. Was because on Saturday, someone shot the little boy to death right in front of his grandfather's home on Haskins Avenue here in Compton. It was just after 7:30 p.m. And from preliminary information, no one saw anything, or no one was saying anything, leaving a family devastated. After all, who would shoot a little boy? One who had overcome so much in his young life, starting with being diagnosed with autism at age 2.
Wow.
He innocent. He didn't deserve that. He wasn't bad, like a bad kid. And I'ma miss my TT boy so much. And if anybody know who did this, can y'all please say something? Because my nephew didn't deserve this.
So, you know, she's asking people to come up, step up, talk about it, and lend a helping hand to the authorities. Now, we all know that doing that is a social death sentence and could be a physical death sentence in the community, but she's asking it nonetheless. And, you know, my question is, if it wasn't her kin, would she be keeping that same energy? And that is one of the things that we're dealing with right now in the community is, you know, people, once their loved ones, once their family members are hurt or killed tragically, that's when they want people to start snitching. That's when they want people to start talking to the police. That's when they want people to step up and do the right thing. When in all actuality, we should be doing that anytime, whether it's your child or not.
Yesterday, family and friends, along with the neighbors and members of the community, came together for a prayer vigil honoring a young life lost as the search for Princeton's killer continues. Of course, if you have any information, please contact the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department. As Brooke mentioned earlier, today we are expecting some new information from homicide detectives. Reporting live in Compton, I'm Gigi Graciette. We'll send it back to you.
All right, Gigi, thank you.
Tragedy for a South LA family this Thanksgiving weekend. A 9-year-old boy is shot and killed right in front of his grandparents' home.
Now, we're expecting to get more details on the investigation today, but as of now, nobody's in custody. NBC4's Brittany Hope is live in Compton with the growing calls for justice. Brittany.
Yeah, John, Michelle, of course, this grieving family just wants answers. And I can tell you, I just got off the phone with the Sheriff's Department. They tell me they hope to have some sort of update in this case later this morning. So I'll make sure to stay on top of that for you. In the meantime, of course, community advocates and community leaders, neighbors are just wrapping around this family, giving them support as the search for the shooter or the shooters continues. There's still a lot of questions on this. Community advocates, though, and a GoFundMe page that says it was started by the 9-year-old's family identifies him as Princeton Jones. Saturday night, the child was shot and killed in front of his grandparents' home on Haskins Avenue and Alondra Boulevard. That home is in West Rancho Dominguez, just feet from the border of Compton. Yesterday, civil rights groups and organizations met outside that home after meeting with Princeton's family and called for justice, including the president of Compton's NAACP.
The whole community should be upset right now. Everybody should be on pins and needles because you don't know where the next bullet is coming from. And bullets don't have any names on it.
When you go out there and you make a decision to take a life, God is hearing and he's seeing and he knows you and you can't hide. You cannot hide.
Unfortunately, we are living in a godless society. So the consequences of God are, pushed off, disregarded, and not saying that these consequences aren't real and dire, especially as it pertains to one's own personal salvation. But, a lot of the people in the community, they're not really caring about God or even factoring that into their decision making. And I think that's a big problem. I think that's something that we definitely should look at and work to improve, because once you decenter God from your life, then a lot of things start going awry.
It's now been 2 days since Princeton was shot and killed. And again, as of this morning, no one has been arrested. We don't know if there was one gunman or multiple. All still questions we're working to answer. If you know anything, though, you are asked to call the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department. Live in Compton, Brittany Hope for Today in LA.
Brittany, thank you.
New details this afternoon on the tragic shooting death of a 9-year-old boy in Compton. It happened last night in front of his grandfather's home on Haskins Avenue near Visalia.
Eyewitness News reporter Tim Caputo is live at the scene where a vigil is underway this evening. Tim?
Joy, Michelle, that vigil wrapped up a short time ago, but certainly there was an awful lot of sadness and even frustration and anger that a 9-year-old was shot and killed. The vigil was held on the corner here behind me in front of that home there. You could see it's fenced in. That 9-year-old was inside the fenced area in the yard when those shots erupted last night. It's unclear if any adults were outside with him at the time, but he was the only one shot. At this point, the family is left with so many unanswered questions.
He didn't make it past 9. So I'm devastated. I have no words. I lost my son, my only son, my firstborn son.
Little Princeton Jones was only 9 years old, and he was staying at his grandfather's house on Haskins Avenue just off of West Alondra Boulevard when those shots rang out around 7:40 last night. Now, his family described Princeton as funny, caring, and a kid who absolutely adored his mother. They said he loved to eat, too. His mother, grandmother, and other family members were here at the scene all morning long searching for answers, as our community leaders wondering when this violence will stop.
This is our community, and it is unfortunate that our young people can't feel safe in their own community. What's happening is a tragedy. It continues to happen, so we're calling on our DA. We have a new DA. We're calling on our DA, our sheriff. We need you guys to step up and do your job.
Well, unfortunately, the community has voted the Democrats in, and they obviously do not plan on doing anything about crime because enforcing the laws and locking up criminals is racist to a lot of Democrat officials, and that's an unfortunate thing because you have a lot of people who are in danger now that they have taken complete control of these cities in California.
To get involved in the community, we need the leadership of the community. We need our elected officials. Killings have to stop.
Certainly, first responders were quick on scene. The LA County Sheriff's Department spent the better part of the evening and even early morning hours out here on the street investigating. To this point, though, they have not said who the potential intended target was, but only saying that 9-year-old was the only person shot. Investigators out here to the early morning hours, and they are likely interviewing any potential witnesses to the shooting. But at this point in the investigation, they have not released a whole lot of information, and it doesn't appear that they have made any arrests either. The family has set up a GoFundMe account to try to raise money, but at the moment, those family members who are suffering and were out here earlier today are just trying to get some answers to figure out exactly what happened and certainly get the people responsible behind bars.
Just 9 years old, this little boy was shot and killed outside his grandfather's home. Now the boy's own father has been arrested on suspicion of murder. Eyewitness News reporter Annabelle Munoz is live in Long Beach with more on this. Annabelle.
Hi, Colleen. We have been in touch with the child's mother over the last several days. We met up with her here in Long Beach, and understandably, she did not want to speak on camera at this time. There's still a lot she doesn't know about how this shooting unfolded. Authorities say they've arrested the father of 9-year-old Princeton Nicholas Jones.
No, not the father. Not the father. And there you have it. It's a family affair. And I mean, you have a man that shot up his son's grandfather's or his father-in-law, basically his father-in-law's house, and killed his own son. I mean, allegedly, but I mean, the community is completely shattered right now. We are in shambles right now, and no words can describe the loss that this family is feeling right now. These super deadbeat gremlins are on demon time.
He was found in the backyard of this Compton home Saturday night, suffering from a gunshot wound. His mother, Creole Green, spoke with us Sunday.
He got shot at Grandpa's house. He was at Grandpa's house. And my 9-year-old baby is gone.
Law enforcement says 32-year-old Nicholas Jones, the child's father, was arrested Sunday, suspected of murder and child abuse, but have released no details on what they believe led up to the shooting, how it happened, or if there were any witnesses. We briefly spoke with Green off camera today after police reported that arrest. She told us she does not know what happened. Over the weekend, she shared her son was diagnosed with autism. She is now a speech-language pathologist assistant.
My goal for him was to give him the proper teachings and all the things that he needed in order to navigate this world independently one day.
A GoFundMe account shared by the family describes Princeton as someone with a brilliant mind and a warm heart. Diagnosed with autism at the age of 2, he began speaking fluently at 5 years old.
He was well taken care of by mom and dad and by all the families. I just want people to know that take care of your babies, love on your babies. Because you never know what can happen.
And that is what Miss Green shared with us on Sunday. Again, the child's father was arrested and booked at the East LA Sheriff's Station. But again, authorities have not released details on what led to that arrest and to this shooting.
What's good, Shadow Realm? It's your boy Jenquavius Jackson, and y'all already know I'm demonetized and shadow banned in this bitch. So if you want to contribute, go to the Cash App, the PayPal, the GoFundMe, or join the Patreon. Also, don't forget to visit the merch store for all your favorite BGZM News 17 gear, including our exclusive Trump is a Blood t-shirt. Go fast before they sell out. They are already flying off the shelves, no cap. And remember, these super gremlins are on demon time.
Good morning and welcome to the KTLA 5 Morning News at 11 a.m. I'm Glenn Walker.
And I'm Lou Parker. Thanks for joining us this morning. We begin with breaking news, a tragic twist in the shooting death of a 9-year-old boy in Compton.
Authorities say that the victim's biological father is now under arrest in the shooting. KTLA 5's Kimberly Chang is live in Compton with the details. Kimberly?
Glenlee, that's right. Detectives are confirming that the boy's biological father is the suspect, and they say he was arrested yesterday for alleged murder and child abuse. Now, the Sheriff's Department identified him as 32-year-old Nicholas Jones of Compton. Jones was booked at the East LA station yesterday.
So we don't have a picture of Mr. Jones yet, but I mean, what a completely random turn of events. I mean, I just can't believe it that you have a man who would actually murder his own son. It's like, what do you say to that? What can you really say? But the community is completely broken. And how do we even come back from this? How does the city of Compton come back from this?
Community members held a vigil to honor 9-year-old Princeton, who was shot and killed outside his grandfather's house Saturday evening. It happened on the 15,000 block of South Haskins Avenue in Compton. Responding deputies found the boy in the backyard of the home and say he died at the scene. On a GoFundMe page, family members said Princeton was a special young man with a brilliant mind and warm heart, and also wrote, diagnosed with mild autism at the age of 2, Princeton worked tirelessly with the loving support of his mother and began speaking fluently by the age of 5.
He was a 9-year-old child, an innocent child who never should have been shot down in cold blood.
And that was community members speaking out there. Now, the city of Compton put out a statement saying, in part, the city is mourning the loss and, quote, our hearts go out to the family as they cope with this tremendous loss. We're told that the suspect is in custody and his bail was set at $2 million. For now, reporting live in Compton, Kimberly Chang, KTLA 5 News.
New details this afternoon on the tragic shooting death of a 9-year-old boy in Compton. It happened last night in front of his grandfather's home on Haskins Avenue near Visalia.
Eyewitness News reporter Tim Caputo is live at the scene where a vigil is underway this evening. Tim?
Joy, Michelle, that vigil wrapped up a short time ago, but certainly there was an awful lot of sadness and even frustration and anger that a 9-year-old was shot and killed. The vigil was held in the corner here behind me in front of that home there. You could see it's fenced in. That 9-year-old was inside the fenced area in the yard when those shots erupted last night. It's unclear if any adults were outside with him at the time, but he was the only one shot. At this point, the family is left with so many unanswered questions.
He didn't make it past 9. So I'm devastated. I have no words. I lost my son, my only son, my firstborn son.
Little Princeton Jones was only 9 years old, and he was staying at his grandfather's house on Haskins Avenue just off of West Alondra Boulevard when those shots rang out around 7:40 last night. Now, his family described Princeton as funny, caring, and a kid who absolutely adored his mother. They said he loved to eat, too. His mother, grandmother, and other family members were here at the scene all morning long searching for answers, as our community leaders wondering when this violence will stop.
This is our community, and it is unfortunate that our young people can't feel safe in their own community. What's happening is a tragedy. It continues to happen, so we're calling on our DA. We have a new DA. We're calling on our DA, our sheriff. We need you guys to step up and do your job. We need them to get involved in the community. We need the leadership of the community. We need our elected officials. Killings have to stop.
Certainly, first responders were quick on scene. The LA County Sheriff's Department spent the better part of the evening and even early morning hours out here on the street investigating. To this point, though, they have not said who the potential intended target was, but only saying that 9-year-old was the only person shot. Investigators out here to the early morning hours, and they are likely interviewing any potential witnesses to the shooting. But at this point in the investigation, they have not released a whole lot of information, and it doesn't appear that they have made any arrests either. The family has set up a GoFundMe account to try to raise money, but at the moment, those family members who are suffering and were out here earlier today are just trying to get some answers to figure out exactly what happened and certainly get the people responsible behind bars.
And now to more breaking news. A 9-year-old boy is gunned down while playing in front of his grandfather's home in Compton.
And tonight, the boy's loved ones are holding a prayer vigil to honor his memory. Carlos Aceto joining us live in Compton tonight with more on that. Carlos?
Rick Kareem, the community is calling this a senseless tragedy. A 9-year-old boy, a 9-year-old child was shot and killed here at this intersection behind me, just outside his grandparents' home in the city of Compton. Now, we have very limited information at this point. Take a look here. This is what we know so far. Family members say Princeton Nicholas Jones, who was autistic, was shot and killed in front of his grandparents' home. Shots rang out around 7:40 Saturday evening in the 15,000 block of Haskins Avenue in Compton. Now, there's no word on who might have pulled the trigger, if it was random or intentional, or whether the family members knew the victim here. Now, authorities also have not released any information on the suspected gunman. Community members are rallying, calling for an end to gun violence, saying that no child should ever be the target, whether it's gang-related or not.
We don't know any information. What we do know was that he was a 9-year-old child, an innocent child who never should have been shot down in cold blood. It used to be a time where women and children were off limits to murder and gun violence. Unfortunately, those days are long gone.
Well, I mean, the fact that he has to say, oh, well, children were off limits. Well, everybody should be off limits, dear brother. Everybody should be off limits. You shouldn't be killing anyone, let alone women and children. But the fact that you have to specify that, oh, well, women and children used to be off limits, but niggas or black men, we fair game. Like that. Man, I mean, and they say I'm self-hating, but how can I be self-hating if I want this violence to stop? If I don't perpetuate the violence, if I do not market the violence. I mean, it's just super disappointing at this late stage in the game, 2024, going into 2025. Something has got to give.
And family members have set up a GoFundMe page. You can find a link to that by heading over to our website, ktla.com. Community members are also planning to hold a march next Saturday here at this intersection, calling for an end to gun violence. We're live in Compton. Carlos Salcedo, KTLA 5 News.
Gang violence and other kind of violence. So it is what it is.